Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you'll get all the notifications from my latest and greatest. Anyway, today we will be discussing the spring equinox, or as some know it as Astara. Now be sure to take a listen to my whole video before you go and try to balance that broom or an egg. The spring equinox, it marks the astronomical first day of spring in the northern hemisphere. Say that 3 times fast. What it means is the sun, when it crosses the equator line heading north in the sky. Yeah. This event marks the start of spring in the northern half of the globe. After this date, the northern hemisphere begins to be tilted more toward the sun, resulting in increasing daylight hours and warming temperatures. In the southern hemisphere, it's the opposite. Anyway, the date changes each year a little. Usually it's between the 20th and 22nd, but it does vary just a smidgen. Anyway, now that we covered the technical, what it means as far as astronomical, I'm gonna fuck that word if I keep saying it. Anyway, there's a tale that I wanted to share with y'all that I thought kind of neat. The tale of Astara, the ancient Germanic goddess of the spring, transformed a bird into a hare, and the hare responded by laying colored eggs for her festival. Now, there's a variation to the tale that I like a little better. I know I won't be able to say that. Yoster found a bird wounded on the ground late in winter. To save its life, she transformed it into a hare, but the transformation was not a complete one. The bird took the appearance of a hare, but retained the ability to lay eggs. The hare would decorate these eggs and leave them as gifts for Yoster. Now, Astera and Yoster, which I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, I will put it in the description and all. They are the same goddess, before I completely confuse everybody. The origin of Astera is a little bit of a mystery. But we do know that the word, or the goddess, Yoster, again I will type it up, is where the word Easter is derived from. So Easter, the name itself, comes from a pagan goddess, which I thought, oh, well, that's pretty cool, you know. Anyway. In ancient Rome, the followers of Cabal believed that their goddess had a consort who was born via a virgin birth. His name was Attis, and he died and was resurrected each year during the time of the vernal equinox on the Julian calendar. Vernal equinox, spring equinox, Astera, they are all the same name for this holiday, which, before I forget, this year falls on March 20th. Anyway, back to my Attis. It's claims between the 22nd and 25th. Now, does that story sound familiar to anyone? The story of the Roman god Mithras, his resurrection is another god honored at this time, born at the winter solstice and resurrected in spring. Mithras helped his followers ascend to the realm of light after death. Now, I have read a little bit about Mithras in the past. He is quite an interesting god. Some of y'all might find very interesting if you go researching his resurrection story. On a Wiccan front, Astara is part of the turning of the wheel, which we'll get into that in a later video, but Astara is part of the turning of the wheel. It is considered a solar Sabbath and is sacred to the young god, most commonly known as, you guessed it, the Green Man. Also sacred to the maiden goddess. At this time of year, they are in their prime time for mating, which is, I guess, part why everything is about fertility, at least on the Wiccan front. Anyway. Yes, I'm goofy today. Y'all just bear with me. On a more pagan spiritual front, the spring equinox is about growth and rebirth. The land is thawed out from winter. Fields are able to be plowed, not in a perverted manner. Flowers are blooming from their long winter sleep. In some cases, people celebrate with a fire as a way to celebrate the return of the light, since the days will now start to get longer. Eggs are a common symbol used for this time of year because they represent birth and fertility. Old pagans would decorate them to make them beautiful and dedicate them to their gods using lots of flowers and greenery. You know, such a sacred thing that was used, decorating eggs to honor the gods, honor the deities, are now what Christians use for their kids as fun and games without even knowing the history of it. Anyway, mild tangent. Fun fact, while we're talking about Christians, the reason the date for Easter changes each year is because it's based off a pagan calendar. Easter, let's see if I can say this without confusing everybody. Easter happens the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox. And that is why Easter changes just a little bit each year. So not only have they stolen everything about the holiday, they still base their day on the pagans. Anyway, as a witch, this is a great time to start spring cleaning, tossing out the old and in with the new. If you plan to plant any type of garden, now is the time to now is the time to start getting the soil ready for seedlings, just like many of the farmers are out getting their fields ready for crops. And if you're a weaver, this is a time special to you also, with day and night being equal. You can hold solitary rites, or if you're part of a coven, I'm sure they are doing some sort of ritual for the day. There are so many things that you can do to celebrate the spring equinox. I mean, it would take me all day to even list probably half of them. But there are tons of things that you can do to honor the day. You can even collect some daffodils for your magical workings, which I will be doing later, probably this month. It's a great time to decorate your altar, or even if you have a seasonal altar with flowers and rabbits and eggs. And it's a great way to remember the great Earth Mother coming awake after her long winter slumber. Now, that is a little bit of information for y'all as far as the winter solstice and what it means. However, I am going to move the video down some so y'all can see what I have been working on today. Give me 1 second. Alrighty, guys. Hopefully you can see everything since I think the camera is pointed here. Today, I actually painted some eggs of my own. Now, I am not an artist, so my eggs did not turn out as fancy or as pretty as some other people's might. But that is okay, because you know what? It's the meaning behind them. Though this one did turn out beautifully. My little sunshine. And this one, I'm sure it looks strange to most people, but to me, this symbolizes as above, so below. You're light, you're dark. You can't have one without the other. You must honor both sides. Now, all those are painted on egg shells. I boiled the eggs and painted them on the shells. Another way that you can do it, which you don't get to have as much fun, but you boil the egg and you take the shell off and you put it in food coloring and water. Now this one I have had soaking for about an hour maybe. And make sure you spin it or move it, or as you can see, the color won't be even. Which, you know, that might be the look you're after. But anyway, they are ways you can decorate your eggs. Now, you're probably wondering what the hell is this crazy woman doing with the chocolate bunny? Years ago, a dear friend introduced me to a tradition of chopping the fucking bunny's head off for the spring equinox, which is a tradition that I have continued with. So, today, we are going to chop the bunny's head off. I did talk my better half into getting me a little axe that I have tried to decorate some, which was harder than you may think. So, wish me luck not to cut off a finger. Alrighty. Bye-bye, little bunny. And we're going to chop. Yay! And the gentleman that taught me this, if you're watching, thanks. It's still awesome. It's not as strange this time either. But anyway, there you have it. That's some information about the Equinox, some things you can do, and of course, the bunny. And now, just for the record, we do eat the chocolate bunny after we chop its head off. It's kind of symbolic, I guess. But yes, if any of y'all end up decorating your own eggs, or if you have a seasonal altar, or really anything, and you feel like sharing, please feel free to leave it in the comments. I would love to see any altars or eggs or anything that y'all have chosen to do and y'all don't mind sharing. So until next time, I'm not sure what my next video will be on, so stay tuned and hopefully it will be something good. Until then, I hope everyone has a lovely spring equinox, and be sure to let me know all them balancing broom stories. Anyway, y'all take care, and I will see y'all next time. Thanks for coming. Remember, hit the subscribe button. Try again. Bye.